There's a bit of a stereotype that wildlife photographers only get up early to do wildlife photography. Well, today we are doing some wildlife photography in the afternoon. Now, it is me underneath all of this sun protection because the sun is out. Finally, it's the first sign of spring. The sun is out and hopefully we're going to be able to get some awesome photos, but it's also the afternoon, which is relatively unusual for me. I normally do go out in the morning and I think that's typical of most wildlife photographers. So today we're going to go out, see what we can find in the afternoon and hope the sun sticks around because the extra light is really useful for the lens we're using. And I'm currently on a canal, as you can see, to this side of me, but there are trees on the other side. And there were some great tits in amongst the trees, so I just stood there, took some photos. I could hear them all chirping away, and so we took some photos. I didn't get any really good photos again, but they're just cool photos, and you can see the great tits in amongst the bushes. Now, I dropped the comment about what lens I was using earlier in the introduction, and I forgot to mention which lens it actually was. So today I'm using the Canon 7D Mark II on the Sigma 150 to 600mm lens. So due to the long nature of the lens, we do need quite a lot of light if we want to use the low aperture and get the beautiful bokeh in the background, so that separation between the subject and the background. And so hopefully with today's sunlight we can get all the light we need to make a really low aperture without having to bring the ISO too high. You can hear a parakeet flying overhead, which is great to hear them again. I don't know why they went quite quiet around here recently, but they are definitely coming back, probably as they're starting to breed. So hopefully we'll see some of them. I know there's areas where there's loads of nests, and as the year continues, as spring kind of picks up, I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more of them. But that's a total tangent, got a bit distracted, and we're going to carry on with our afternoon wildlife photography. And so I've come into a wooded area just off the path. The path is behind me, but there's all these trees because there's more great tits. Now these great tits are very active at the moment, potentially all finding partners, finding mates, or making nests. They're all flying around and doing a lot of cooling. So I've taken some photos of the great tits, of which some of them this time were actually good. Like the ones this time I was actually proud of. The ones earlier, they were just kind of taking photos to document the existence of the great tits, whereas these ones were cool photos. So the great tits are still around, and if I get any more photos I'll show you them. But I want to try making a cool sequence. Now there's lots of kind of just leaf litter, rubbish around on the floor here, and with the sun kind of shining through the trees, I'm sure we can make a pretty cool montage. So I'm just going to take loads of B-roll in this area, see what I get, and then hopefully string it all together, edit it cool, and you will see it right now if it worked. and I'm on the canal. And I'm not sure if you can see behind me, but there is a cormorant. Now I've taken some photos and there's a canal boat coming up behind me. There's also quite a few people walking past, which means it's getting disturbed quite a lot. Now I want to take photos of it flying away because that'll look cool, but I'm really worried it's going to do that. So I'm going to focus on taking photos of the cormorant, and then if I get the photos, I'll show them to you. And there goes the canal boat, and the cormorant did fly away as predicted, and because of the sun shining through all of the water droplets, it looked awesome. But it would have looked even more awesome if I was on the other side of the cormorant, because sadly he was flying away from me, so we're looking at it from the back. So still cool, but not exactly the perfect photos, but they're very cool photos and I will show them to you now. And you will have seen my water montage thing. There was a lock and I decided I'd take some video of it and then slow it down. So I shot it at 50 FPS and then I'm going to edit it down to 25. So you will have seen that already. And hopefully that looked really cool. And then I also found some ducks. But just now I was walking along and there was a tree creeper on one of the trees. Now it's quite a distance away, so again it's not one of the amazing photos, it's a documenting the fact we saw it photo. But I really like seeing tree creepers. I'm sorry if the sun is making this really overexposed, but I really don't see them that often, so seeing one was fun even if the photos weren't perfect. But the photos are still cool. He was kind of hanging underneath the tree and you can see the shape and the beak. So here are the photos nonetheless, and you can judge for yourself. And it's gone really quite quiet. I've been walking for like half an hour now. I've seen some small birds. I think I saw a robin, which I haven't updated you on, and I think I've taken some other photos, but we haven't had anything exciting for a bit. Now, one thing I did notice was lots of small birds. We saw the great tits, I saw some long-tailed tits, robin, loads of small birds around. Now, that's quite usual. You do normally see small birds, but I feel like in my wildlife walks, now I believe all of my wildlife walks so far have been filmed in the morning because I'm just living up to that photographer's stereotype of a morning person. But we don't often see too many small birds because these small birds, I don't know, even though the dawn chorus is full of small birds, for some reason we don't seem to get that many of them. But today, all I've done is seen the small songbirds, so that's quite an interesting thing. Maybe the afternoon is better for the smaller birds. It may also just be total luck, or where I am, or it may be the time, who knows. But I'm going to carry on going and we're going to see what else we find. We're currently just in between two fields. There's kind of a wild field and then there's a horse paddock to this side of me. There is nothing in these fields of particular interest, and my next stop will be the farm. And in the meantime I'll show you those photos I didn't show you, i.e. the robin and the long-tailed tit, which I've taken in the meantime. And we have arrived on the farm. There are cows behind me, and then there are crops to the other side of me. I've been here for about half an hour and haven't really found much. There's some crows, pigeons flying around. Obviously there's the cows, but there's nothing that much happening. So if anything does happen, I'll take a photo, but otherwise I think we're going to call it quits there because it's been a pretty long afternoon and I'm getting tired. So remember to like and subscribe. Comment down below your favourite photo if you have one and why, and I'll see you in the next one.